Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the March 17th meeting of the Community Politics Planning Board. Tonight we have our regular administrative business followed by public comment and two public hearings, as well as a few application reviews. Begin with, did everyone have a chance to look over the meeting minutes for the January 20th meeting, as well as the joint meeting with HPC and Planning Board from February 9th, were there any changes to those? No suggestions. In that case, I'd like to get a motion to approve both the January 20th and February 9th meeting minutes.
So,
Second. All in favor?
aye.
Aye. Next up, do we have any updates from our village board and Ulster County Zoning Board liaison?
Nothing from the county planning board, except they are putting together a policy document for regarding BESS, battery energy storage systems. A couple of communities requested, and the county has regularly about topics that are often timely, put together these policy documents. So when I get a copy of that, I will share it with all the members so you can look at it. Nothing else other than I continue to work with the small subcommittee of village trustees on the code, and hoping that in the next several months we'll be honing it down to and getting it back for comment. So
Mike, is it possible to take chunks of it? I mean, if they're done with the definitions, could we do that?
possibly, yeah, we could do it that way. I mean, at some point they have to do an official referral of the entire code to this body as one local law. But let me check with the mayor and see if she's comfortable with that. We're sort of not necessarily doing it in consecutive order in the code. We're kind of bouncing around to what they want to work on, but I could still potentially bring sections. So
And I'm wondering if the new members haven't seen the original draft, maybe they could see it. Because it is, I'll be honest with you, it's work. You know,
It is, yeah. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Let me,
Be willing to be
Yeah.
share the draft with them so they can.
I think I'd like to get one more meeting with them and then I'll get a good feel for where we are. Because we sort of got through the definitions, but now we're getting into the various uses. So, but that's all I have to report.
Okay, great. And that's a building department
Yep.
as well.
Just one other note, we did hire a new municipal code officer, part-time. He started last week. He's now in his second week. He normally will be working regularly Monday through Thursday, 5 hours a day. We haven't quite settled in on what the time frame will be, but it'll probably be mid-morning until end of day. So, like either 10 to 3 or 11 to 4. So one of those two combinations. So, but we had 8 applicants, had interviewed 3 and narrowed it down to the 1. So
Thank you. Next, moving on to public comment. Is there anyone here tonight that would like to make a general public comment? Anyone online? Okay.
Nope, nobody online. Oh, that's Ken.
In that case, let's to move on to the public hearing. Could I get a motion to open the public hearing for PB 2602 137 North Chestnut?
So, sorry.
Second. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Would anyone like to make a comment on 137 North Chestnut? Would anyone sign up to do so, Mike?
I don't think so. I don't think anybody signed up on any of them. We'll double check. To be sure.
Okay. No comments. I like to get a motion to close the public hearing for PB 2602.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have a motion to open the public hearing for PB 2603, 185 Route 32 North.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone like to make a comment about 185 Route 32 North? All right, in that case, I'd like to get a motion to close the public hearing for PB 2603.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So to begin our application, we begin with PB 2603, 185 Route 32 North. You could please come up.
Oh, Zach Rachel has just zoomed in, so.
Hello. Hello.
So I believe we do the creation of the resolution of approval. So we have it here tonight. Did you get a chance to read over the resolution?
Didn't read through all of it. I didn't know it was it. I just read it.
Yeah, that's fine. There were no specific conditions, just the general language we use for our resolutions, but you know, the findings will just the findings really quick then for the review of the board. Planning board has found that the site conforms to the village adopted comprehensive master plan and village codes, including the applicable NDR district regulations. There will be no additional interference with traffic on surrounding streets and adequate parking provided. Planning board has reviewed conservation features, aesthetics, landscaping, and impact on surrounding development in the entire village in this determination of approval. So there are no other questions or comments from the board.
No.
I'd like to get a motion approving the site plan for 185 State Route 32 North.
So moved.
Could we have a roll call vote, please?
Sure. Rachel, are you able to hear us?
There are specific rules of open use law, and she would have to make her location public, so I think.
Doesn't have to because it's a medical.
Okay. All right, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Happy with anything you say.
Yeah, if you could. Hi.
Hi, Rachel. Do you feel
Hi there.
comfortable? Do you feel
Yes.
comfortable voting on this? Yeah. 'Cause
I-
this one-
I missed the first part of that.
This was for, we can skip you on this vote if you'd like. We'll move
Okay.
on. Yeah,
Yeah, go
we'll
ahead.
let you- We'll let you get settled.
Yes, I'm trying to get
Okay.
my headphones to work.
Okay. So Duncan? Terry?
Aye.
Zach?
All right, so this is proof. We'll have that signed for you shortly. And, yeah. Or, thank you. Thank you.
And we'll get a signed copy to you, but then you can go ahead and apply for the building permit for that portion whenever you're ready.
So do you, when I bring the permit, do you give me this paper and that even sign?
Sure.
Will that work?
Sure.
Okay.
No problem. Thanks. Thank you.
Next we have PB 2602, 137. Really don't have anything to do. present. We talked about it last time. Kind of planning, quite pointed out, came back with no concerns. We're just here to continue forward, no public comment on that. See what's move forward. What we're doing. Move them all. Yeah, I think we were all, pretty clear on the changes last time. And there was only one other thing we needed to discuss tonight, which was the additional rec fee required for the two new residential units that are being added. So yeah, I think, is the board in agreement that this will, the addition of these two residential units will cause an additional demand for. Okay. Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page with that, and considering there's no recreation area of the required size on the property, we will recommend to the board that they just assess that additional rec fee. Other than that, given that there's no comments to discuss from the county, I think I'm ready to authorize the preparation of the resolution approval.
Should we do a motion on the rec fees just to
Sure.
authorize them?
So, could I get a motion authorizing the board to impose the rec fee? Yeah.
So move.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I would like to bring up my least favorite topic, and I apologize to the developer. Number one, I've said many times on this board, that I am absolutely in favor of more housing in the village. And I think your project absolutely is necessary. It's going to do great. However, I am still very concerned about the,
What's the name of?
as it is said, that the state, saying that we're 32.
Rachel, you're gonna have to turn off your microphone, otherwise it's gonna feed back through us.
It's turned off.
You're not muted yet, Rachel, but.
Might be able to do it myself.
Please, I can't see.
Okay, I got it, Rachel. We're good.
Going back to the original approvals for these projects. I don't know the date of those approvals, but I did read the original resolution before I came. And obviously the resolution includes all kinds of work products that he presented to us at the time of that review. One of those was a New York State construction details dated September of 2023. There were traffic impact studies prepared by Colliers Engineering dated September 23. September 22, February 23rd. And there was a supplemental traffic analysis dated April 23rd. I may be wrong, but I don't remember any of that reviewed by us, reviewed by the city's traffic engineer, ever mentioning the need for what they call a center turning lane in Route 32. I also found, and I can't put my finger on it right now, but I found what I think to be a rather new document in the database It appears to be almost a bid document prepared by the State Department of Transportation, unsigned, undated. It says this turning lane seems to cover both of the Baxter projects. So that would go from the south down by Veterans Way, all the way beyond Bonnecue Drive, that there'd be a center turn. Now, I don't know when we got that document. As I said, it's unsigned, undated. I would note that all those traffic studies that we saw, that I just read, those are signed by a licensed engineer who put their name on it, put their license on it, put their reputation on it, saying this is not necessary. Now the state comes in my opinion, at the last hour, and seems to recommend, although I can't prove it, that this is necessary. So how do I get out of my dilemma? I recommend this, and our attorney may have to help me. If the developer had no need to come back to us based on their new plan, if they had no need, they were just going to build the project, would we as a planning board ever have to even opine on the fact that the state wants that turn? If the answer to that is no, then I strongly recommend we take out any reference to that turning lane in any resolution we approve. Because I think I'm ready with it. I don't think the construction, I don't think the design, construction, or maintenance of that turning lane has anything to do with our act. I may be wrong, but I don't think you have to design it.
Yes.
You have to design it.
The state is requiring it for their driveway access.
State has, just like you said, we went through this project and 145, went through their initial approvals. We had the last level of construction drawings for 145 ready to start the work in the DOT right away. And then the timing of the winter slowed down us starting. And as we were getting ready to start, the DOT would not issue the permit. As their internal traffic review department started looking at the fact that 151, 145, and 137 were now on 32 here, their internal decided it's irrelevant what we've said before, we now want the turn.
Well, that is interesting. I wasn't going to bring up the other projects because they're not in front of us tonight.
Correct.
I didn't know if I should,
And-
but you brought it.
And our project was designed irrelevant of them, still required.
Well-
We asked the question when both 145 would need a turning lane, 137 would need a turning lane together. And you are correct that the plans that are before you in front of this right now have traffic that is 137 and 145's turning lanes associated with this project here at 137. And the reason for that was we were pushing to get the 145 work completed because we were already 80% down the road.
There is a change recently from the DOT, though. They've now come back and said that the turn lane is going to go from 137 to the shared driveway of 145, 151. And it doesn't, and they're going to make the northern entrance to 151 be a right in, right out only. So they're no longer requiring the third lane to continue all the way to the end of 151. So it will stop at your shared driveway. And that just came to me last week.
All these missives from the State Department of Transportation, does anybody put their name on it?
Oh yeah, there's
Anybody put-
the letters are signed from the engineers that issue the letters.
Can you send those to me?
They're in the Munico app. Yeah.
Because troubling that there's a whole bid document in there with no signature. That could come from anybody,
That,
or anything.
if you could send that one to me, because I'm not sure what you're speaking about with that, with the bid document.
So the document I think you're referring to is the document that Lavella put together.
Oh, okay.
From Lavelle.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's
that's not from the DOT.
That's from us. We design, developers. design. And what that is the DOT permitting plans that in the format that they require to get them approved. And that's what we're before them now. Getting comments and trying to get them approved so we can actually start construction as soon as the weather allows us.
Okay, so let me back up and say, so you had to design this,
Correct.
but ultimately the approval for your design is the state.
Correct. Everything within the New York State DOT right is their approval.
Their approval. Do they indemnify you and hold you harmless based on their approval?
I'm not the design engineer of that.
I understand. I would strongly recommend you talk that over with your attorney. Force the state to indemnify, hold you harmless, and defend you if anything happens as a result of that turning lane that you may have designed, but ultimately they approved. I would also ask our attorney, since we can't take reference to that turning lane out, I would strongly recommend that our resolution says clearly, definitively, that the state of New York will indemnify us, hold us harmless, and defend us if anything happens as a result of that turn lane for which we have to give approval.
I'll just as
You may not be,
Yeah.
you, I think, I'm sorry, should not. I believe you can,
We will,
and I strongly recommend you do it. Because I'll say it again, I think this is very badly designed, very badly thought out. And it's going to cause problems. I could go on with more problems, but I'm not going to hold everybody. Thank you very much for your time.
thank you, appreciate your comments. Yeah, I agree, it's unfortunate that the DOT is requiring some of these changes, but I don't see a way for us to meaningfully influence that at this stage.
Right.
And I think you're probably right, Mr. Chairman. However, I think we should protect ourselves.
I'll definitely look into it.
If they want us to do it, then they're going to defend us. And defend is, I'm telling you, that's the key to that.
I would point out, though, that that turn lane is not part of the site plan that we're approving, because we're only approving the site plan for the property boundaries. And the DOT,
Gets to my point.
right, but one of the conditions is that they have to, mean the applicant has to secure a DOT access permit. And the DOT, under New York State regulations, has complete purview over what is required for that access. So I agree with I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
And I don't know how we do this.
Yeah.
And I have no desire to hold you up. I have no desire to hold you up. I would strongly recommend we make that clear, that this is not part of the site plan. This is a requirement of the State Department of Transportation. That it has, that we have no oversight, authority, approval, disapproval for this thing. And we want to be defended when something happens.
Lori, one thing maybe to check with Emily is if we just put a statement in there in the conditions that, work done on Route 32 at the requirement of the New York State DOT or something along those lines. I mean, I'm making up off the top of my head, but if we put a statement on there that it's clear, because we don't have any jurisdiction over what happens on that roadway or doesn't happen on that roadway. We only have approval process over the boundaries of the parcel. So if we somehow can word it that way, I think your point's very valid, Terry. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so to wrap up then, I'd like to get a motion of approving preparation of the resolution approval with the specific conditions that we. All in favor? Aye. So I believe that's all for tonight, but we will see,
Since we can't proceed tonight because we're on a resolution. Will you need us in attendance for the meeting next? I've been trying to keep costs down to the plan of school now, it looks like we didn't want to do anything. Thank you. Appreciate it. Your help.
Yeah, I'll get you a copy in advance so you
Okay,
can look it over.
Thank you.
Yes.
all right, next up, we have the 2604, the 16 topic.
Zach, I have the plans here with some of the areas.
Okay.
Survey, the hand drawn. I mean, I really like that. There were pictures as well.
You want to just start out by giving us an overview of the project and where it's at?
Yeah, sure. So we made an estimate that we would the back offer and just all of the back offer. And then it was installed. That was very excited. And then we should have approval first. So we done this with planning board, and that's up to the zoning board of appeals. And zoning and ordinance. With. And so yes.
And what were those conditions that we get?
That, you know, you turn into like a traffic and that's one of the, Nancy, you want to just leave it. And thought and shrub to block the street.
And that should be in the Municipal Lab as well, I believe, but if I didn't put it in, I apologize. It's in there.
And so. Be helpful if we had the location of that landscaping on the site plan.
Okay. You know, yeah, to it.
Well, I assume it's here,
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't want to draw it in for the next meeting, so when that's recorded, it's part of the record.
I can try to get like an 11 by 17 copy of that for you that you should be able to just mark on there. Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great. Does it have the dimensions on here? Okay, yeah, I see 26. Quarter. Yeah, well, we want to make sure that both the dimensions of the are on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I see 5.5, yeah, okay. And so I guess the variance was for the side yard setback?
Yeah.
How's that?
Yeah, an accessory structure, which was the court, can't be within a certain distance of the side yard line. And it was too close, so that they received the variance to be allowed to put it there. And the ZBA looked at the fact that the neighboring home is at the far side of the property and is fairly far away. It's probably about as far away as it could be from where this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
So,
also a buffer of arborvitae, the green giants that separate them.
Okay, are there any other questions from the board?
Nope, nope.
It's pretty straightforward.
I drove by there today. I think it's great. I mean, what kid wouldn't want basketball hoop in their side yard, backyard? We put them on garages, we put them next to garages, we put them all over the place. Yeah, honestly, I feel bad for you if you have to come here because we need a really good thing.
Yeah. Well, there are few steps we can take tonight. First is can I get a motion classifying this as a type 2 action under seeker?
So moved.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. Next, we do have to have a public hearing, so can I get a motion to schedule the public hearing for our next meeting?
April 7th.
April 7th.
so moved.
All in favor? And I also recommend, since, don't anticipate anybody coming out in opposition to this, that we just authorize the resolution of approval, so at the next meeting, we can have that taken care of as well. So, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Aye. So, yeah, with that, I think the only thing is just making that one change to the site plan and, yeah, we'll send that.
Yeah, I can get a copy and I'll let you know when I have it if you want to stop by and grab it. I'll just print out an 11 by 17, which is the biggest we can print out, but it'll cover the majority of that document.
And then we talk for the next meeting, for the public hearing.
Yeah, you'll have to do the letters to your neighbors. I'll get you the list like last time. Thank you.
Next meeting should be last night.
You have a decision, Zach?
Oh, yes, that'd be-
So I'll keep it. Yeah.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question. Yeah. A structure that was encroaching on a side yard setback turns out to be a slab of concrete. Totally net. Hypothetically, if the family had built a bocce ball field of clay, is that a structure?
I can't say exactly, but my personal feeling is probably not, but because the slab was put in there, like the ZBA, one of the conditions they made was that it couldn't become a driveway or the base for a shed or something like that. Because this was created, specifically for, and there's a section in the code that talks about recreation. It's primarily meaning like tennis courts and things like that, but it was interpreted by the former building inspector to fall in that same category. So with the proposed code changes, things like this will become what's called a minor site plan. It wouldn't get to this board anymore.
That's great.
Yeah.
Very good.
It'll stay with the building department.
Good.
Yeah.
That was as much for the viewing public as anybody else. I mean, I don't know if anybody watches this. I don't want.
Oh, they do.
For the village.
There'll be 50 views, 100 views of these meetings.
and you get dragged into the planning.
No, I think the code changes are very important.
Yeah.
I really do want to make sure we try to get through those this year. All right, next we have PB 2605, 186, 194.
You have a set of plans?
Yes.
Okay.
Hello. All right. I don't know if everybody has a chance to take a look at the drawings or anything yet. The idea is to do a facelift, to build hasn't been updated in 20 years. 22 years. So what we want to do is a mix of materials with some stone veneer, some composite with cotton and some stucco work. So with some columns out in front to help support the facade work. We're not making any changes to the footprint of the building or anything like that. We don't anticipate any site changes or anything. Lighting and material change.
No changes to the awnings or the areas that are overhangs now.
Yeah, it don't be the same footprint, but this is different because right now there's some sloped metal that unfortunately drips right onto the parking lot. And, well, there's some ice up and stuff, so we're gonna eliminate that by going with the flat facade vertical. But the projection is. We're gonna some sidewalks to the start to. We're gonna have that's over here. There was one already here before that the pharmacy, so we're just put a new one there.
And I guess those light fixtures are all in compliance with the code with our
Yes, that's
side.
right. Yeah. So the sconces we're gonna have on the main stone columns and the downlights would be for the signage and over each one of the entrance doors. We're also gonna have some soffit lighting, but that's strictly down onto the sidewalk, just for safety. Right. The signage, we're not changing any of the signs. I just wanted to give you an idea of where they would be placed on the sign.
And are they going to be changed to the parking?
No. Parking would stay as is. I did provide a copy of the previous site plan. We don't see any holes there at all. We need to go participating in. Yes.
So that'll stay.
Yes, I would say, that's on the. Exactly where. The full length.
And Lee, I think the monument sign or the pole sign that's out by the roadway, that wasn't on the original site plan, that was added afterward.
I think that was an addition that wasn't on.
I found the building permit for it. I think that just went through the building department.
Years later.
Okay.
Would you be open to adding any more landscaping to the parking lot, like some additional screening closer to the road?
Not really any place for it.
It would be tough, but you'd have to lose
Parking,
parking.
but I think there are only some 56 spots.
I mean, previously, we had done something in this corner over here because we had the availability to do that. In fact, I think we lost the space with everything on. I don't know where we would be able to do it. If not.
Yeah, I think-
Parking, yeah.
I think, maybe losing a spot or two, would be a worthwhile trade-off here. you know, improving the look of the building, that could also really improve it visually from the street.
Yeah, the B2 does have those steep streets, trees aren't encouraged. So.
What is the specific language?
Yeah, so, for the applicants, this is in, section 212.13 F3. And it's concerning street safety standards, and it's for alignment with the community's street policy. Site plan should include raw sidewalks, street trees, and bicycle lanes. Such a policy provided in the county, ultimately in policy. In December 2017 resolutions regarding state streets. So obviously this is should, so this is, advisory language, so it's not like, absolutely required, but it is the policy of the village.
Well, we certainly discuss, we have some ways to not, minimize the impact on parking, obviously, because, there is a need there. Yeah, see if there's some place that would work something.
That'd be great.
Okay. Right.
And I don't know if you also wanted to put this like these issues.
Oh, yeah, that's also got some
Yes,
information. What is that?
basically, actually, the main takeaway from 212.13 F16, which is also in the Mr. Requirements B2, is basically a landscaping plan should be submitted. That's the main thing, and then requirements that is permanently maintained, and then it's a growing condition. Regular maintenance. There are a few, height requirements, things like that, density, but this basically concerns like a landscaping. So, and this actually is the language in this that we want. However, I think that, because there's not much being changed, I think that's something that we can consider.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what's planted in that little corner
Right.
area now, but
What do you have, that can be updated as well.
Yeah.
Some additional things.
Can we consult with Shade Tree? We have an active Shade Tree Commission, and I think they could be good for advice on the tree planting.
That's a good thought.
Shape would be great, I think.
Yes.
Thank you.
When is that next meeting for that, Rachel?
I don't know, but it
Okay,
it
I
should
can
be
look
on
it
the, thank you.
I'll get a letter to the chair.
Thank you. You can mute me now.
And then, so I guess, given that this is in the B2, that also, is it required to refer this to the DRB or?
Yeah, anything exterior changes in the B2 is required for advisory only. So they meet this, I'll get you the form for the request to them, but I think they meet the second Monday of April is their next meeting. So we'll ask that you get on their agenda for that meeting.
So, does the board need a motion to?
We should. We can do it to refer to the Shade Tree and the DRB in the same motion if you want.
Sure, can I get a motion to refer project to the design review board and Shade Tree Commission for advisory? Second. On favor?
Aye.
Aye. The other thing we have to do is, could I get a motion classifying this application as type 2 under seeker?
So,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye. And next up, if you think you'll be ready by our April 7th meeting, we could set a public hearing for April 7th.
Yeah, I would need the drawings by April 1st. March 31st, April 1st, a week before the meeting. So any changes you're gonna make there in the landscaping plan, so.
Okay, so if that's doable, then, make a motion to set the public hearing for our next meeting on April 7th.
So,
All in favor?
aye.
And just for the board's information, it's not required to go to the county planning board because it's not it's only exterior changes and it's part of the exception agreement. So,
Yeah, I think that's all for tonight. If there's any other questions from the board. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I can't make it.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
No problem. You got it. Thank you.
Yep, okay.
You too.
But I can answer another question.
Sure.
Right?
Yes,
If I may,
absolutely.
is there? Can I get, maybe I have to come in and look at it, the original resolution for that project? Because it probably so old, it's not in.
Yeah, but I probably can photocopy it and send it to you. So let me just make a note. Actually, I'll put it in the Munical lab, but I'll make sure to email it to everybody.
All right, so finally, we have PB 2606 by Highfield. Now. Yeah, the names. Can you give us a little overview of what?
Sure, Glenn King, owned and operated the Bill Coast Restaurant in the village for the last 29 years. I opened and operating Sideshow Kitchen and Bar, coming up on 15 months. And I'm looking to add an outside bar to the area.
Okay. Is that permanent bar, permanent structure, or is it?
It's a permanent
What does it
structure.
look like?
So it's 9 foot wide by 16 feet. It's open, I'm gonna describe.
Sure, so 16 feet wide by 9 feet and a kind of a 45-degree pitch roof that I can totally enclose at the end of the night rather than having to bring everything in and out at the end of the night. That's pretty much.
But open walls, not, it doesn't 3 walls and just open on each side.
No, so it'll basically just, it'll look like almost this table length, right?
All right,
With a roof that I can have like shutters that can come down and close at the end of the night. That makes sense.
yeah.
Is this the plan? This is the plan here.
Slide that. And so Mike, can you explain the, part about the special conditions in the?
Yeah, so in the original, when I pulled this, because it's 144 square feet, it doesn't rise to the level of, even though it's going to be a permanent structure, it doesn't rise to the level of a change to the site plan. But in the original decision, there was one condition in particular, and I quoted it, that in the determination, let me just read it to you. Said the use of outdoor seating area shall be limited to the part of the bar restaurant that operates a restaurant and shall not be a part of the bar use. So in order to allow this to occur on the patio area, either that condition would need to be removed or modified in some way to allow the bar use to exist on the patio. The second thing I found was that the planning board in that decision, and this was condition number 13, saying the building inspector was requested to provide a report back to the planning board at approximately 1 year of operation. Actually, the exact condition says the special permit shall be subject to annual review by the Village of New Paltz building inspector to ensure compliance with the special use requirements and conditions of this approval. They began operation in January of 8th of 25. They were given a BCO. And I'll be honest, this is one of those conditions that fell through the cracks that if I hadn't pulled the file and started looking, we wouldn't have known to do this. But nonetheless, I did go back through any reports of complaints about this property and could not identify any that have occurred, which to my thinking is probably pretty, for an outdoor restaurant area, you have to imagine there must have been at least one or two, but I could not locate any actual complaints that we registered.
Contact you or the bar directly with noise complaints?
Well, I got one phone call from Claire at Luna. We had a 1 or 2 piece acoustic music on Saturdays, and the guy started playing and turned it up a little bit. And within 5 minutes, she gave me a call personally, and I ran over because I was at the Gilco's, and he turned it down. So that was in a year. That's the only complaint that I know of. And just to give you a little bit of an overview, I wanted to wait a year to get the approval for an outside bar because I didn't want to try to get the initial approval and say, look, I'm knowing how New Paltz is known as a bar town. It's not the bar town that it used to be, of course, but I wanted to operate for a year and have the board see that I am operating as a restaurant. I'm not a nightclub, I'm not a college bar. I have a fire pit outside. I stay open on weekends to usually 1 a.m. and it's people quietly sitting on the fire pit or sitting at tables. And that's what I envision the purpose of having outside bar, just to gain a few more seats to use as an auxiliary. Because in season, I go from 80 seats inside to about 160. And that additional bar helps me serve those customers a lot better.
So in my opinion, the board's 2 choices would be one of 2 things. You could remove that condition and say that, at the first anniversary, it was reviewed, whatever determination you come to, and then it's removed so he doesn't have to come back each year, or you could continue it and say he's got to come back annually until the board is satisfied there's no concerns. So those would, I don't know if you've, I think, Lori, if you can think of anything else, but I think it was set as a 1-year special use. So, but it wasn't clear in the resolution. It just said that the building inspector is requested to provide a report back. So they didn't really say the special use is conditioned on a renewal. Which is normally how you do a timed timed special use permit. It's good for a year or 2 years and then must be renewed. They just kind of wanted to have a little check-in, as it appears to me. So
I mean, just to be clear, adding this outdoor bar is not going to change the intensity of the use. Like, it's not going to enable you to be open later or play louder music outside or anything. It's not going to have more seats. It's just going to help serve the people that are already there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm zone bar restaurant, so I already have an option to stay open until 4 if I want. I just choose not to. I don't.
Yeah.
It's not in my best interest.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, I'm in favor of, removing that condition. I think it's. Yeah. Given how few complaints there've been, seems like it's working well, and I don't think this will really change. Yeah.
And I'm also in favor of removing the condition, but I do have a question.
Sure.
Under your current operation, can a patron come in and get a drink at the current bar and walk outside and drink it?
Okay.
Oh, so it's not,
Yeah.
you're not changing that,
No, not at all.
just, okay, yeah, I'm in favor.
Yeah,
Of removing that condition.
okay, and were there any other conditions? You mentioned several conditions that must be removed.
So 7 and 13 are the two that have to be addressed. Yeah,
Okay,
those are the two conditions that, the 7 is very specific in saying that the bar use can't be limited to the part of the bar that operates as a restaurant and shall not be a part of the bar use. So to me, that's pretty specific, that the patio right now doesn't have a bar and they're looking to add a bar. That's how I read it anyway. It depends on how the board reads it. If the board doesn't think it needs to be removed, then you can.
I think I would rather just remove both of them and make it clear and not have any ambiguity going forward. So, yeah, if the board is in agreement with that, then I think we can move forward with a few things here. First of all, putting the budget to be classified as type 2 under secret. So,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next, it also needs to be referred to the Ulster County Planning Board, so to refer this application to the Ulster County Planning Board. So,
Second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
And to clarify on that, this is a sort of a gray area. It's not really addressed, so I'm going to send it. They may come back and say we don't need to see it, but I'm just going to send it to just in case.
Okay, and yes, also the public hearing for this change as well.
So the county isn't meeting until April 8th because of the Jewish holidays on the 1st. So I don't know. You won't be able to do a decision until you get their comments back. But if you can hold the hearing on the 7th, you could always hold it open and then close it on the 21st. And if you were ready, do a decision on that same meeting.
Okay. Sure, let's do that. So can I get a motion to set a public hearing for April 7th?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And yeah, we need to also have everything ready then and have a resolution for the county. Back. Yeah. That's all.
All right. You'll let us know. Yes, do for the public.
Yeah, I'll send you the list of surrounding neighbors and the sign that's got to be put up. So
I would just like to say one word for the tree. If I could. I was very disappointed during the construction that the one tree that was on the corner there, that it somehow died during construction, which I think is something that often happens to trees. And I'd like to see that another tree there. I'd like to see that replanted. And I don't know whether that area around in front of the brick wall, there's like sort of a little bricked area as well in the corner. And I believe that would also would be served well by a planting of some kind.
I mean,
That's it.
it's a pretty extensive landscaping plan.
There is, and that's village property.
But that's village, okay. The tree on the side there was really provided a lot of shade.
I could shed some light on that. During construction, we had to add another emergency exit to that side of the building, and we had to extend that whole sidewalk on the left side of the building several feet, and that went right into that tree. We were required to take that down.
It's just, you have that sort of a huge amount of asphalt there without much of a breakup. And I feel like that tree at least provided some shade. It's a shame.
It's an emergency exit, and that goes right up to the village property.
Yeah.
It's actually paved, it's all pavers. Actually beautiful.
But all the landscaping plan that was approved previously, it's been
Correct.
Was there anything else, Rachel, on your questions?
No.
Well, that's all we have then. See you next time.
All right, okay, thanks a lot.
Is that drawing that you had there, can I keep that paper copy?
Sure.
Yeah, because I just have the, that's the one you emailed me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Great, thank you. I like to just have one copy.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, thanks.
appreciate it.
Tonight,
Thank you.
Good night, thanks.
I move we adjourn.
Yes, I second.
Aye.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, Rachel.